China's top legislature, the National People's Congress, has criticized the Hong Kong High Court's ruling that the emergency regulation ordinance is a violation of the Basic Law. The Basic Law is a set of rules that are the basis of Hong Kong's governance. China's lawmakers said on Tuesday that the inclusion of the ordinance into the Basic Law was approved by the Standing Committee in 1997, right before the handover. The ordinance was originally enacted in 1922 by the British government in Hong Kong, and this is the first time it's being challenged ever. It gives the Hong Kong chief executive the power to make regulations in occasions of emergency or public danger.
Because of the ruling of the High Court, the police would no longer arrest people because of they wearing a mask, just simply wearing a mask. So as a result, there would be lesser arrest. Because of this lesser arrest, those rioters would be enlarged. So as a result, there would be more rioters on the street, not being arrested and apprehended and prosecuted. So this would be a devastating effect on the effort to stop violence in Hong Kong.
On October the 5th, months into violent protests in Hong Kong, Chief Executive Carrie Lam cited public danger and invoked the ordinance. She then implemented the prohibition of face covering regulation, also known as the anti-mask law. The new law banned people from wearing masks or face coverings during protests. Carrie Lam said it was aimed at ending violence and restoring order. The leading counsels of Hong Kong's High Court argued against the ordinance, saying it gives the executive branch power to bypass the legislative branch and make provisions when, quote, there is no emergency.
The U.S. Commerce Department has allowed Huawei to purchase some American-made goods in a series of 90-day license extensions. That's after the U.S. added the Chinese company to an economic blacklist in May, citing security concerns. The Commerce Department says the extension aims to minimize disruptions for Huawei customers, many of which operate networks in rural America. The Rural Wireless Association says that about a dozen small rural carriers have purchased gear over the years from Huawei or ZTE. The association said replacing the equipment would cost about $1 billion. U.S. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross said in a statement that the extension would allow carriers to continue to service customers in some of the most remote areas of the United States. Huawei said that the extension won't have a substantial impact on its business and that it doesn't change the fact that the company continues to be treated unfairly. The Chinese company said the decision to add it to the American Entity List has caused more harm to the U.S. than to Huawei. U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order declaring a national emergency in May and barred American companies from using telecommunications equipment made by companies posing a national security risk.
The average gold price was more than $1,470 per ounce in the third quarter this year, a year-on-year increase of 21%. The price rally began in June, and the World Gold Council says the high prices are keeping consumers from making fresh purchases.
Majority of gold consumption, jewelry consumption in China is 24-karat gold jewelries. For that category, consumers has price sensitivities. So usually they prefer to buy gold jewelries when they think that the price is low. So when the price is high, they will hold their wallet and then take a wait-and-see attitude. That's one of the main causes to basically cause the slowdown of the jewelry consumer.
The slowdown is being felt in countries across Asia, including China, India, Vietnam, and Indonesia. A sales decline of more than 10% year-on-year across the region. The fall-off is forcing Asia-based jewelry brands into a transition. They are no longer only selling gold jewelry as an expensive luxury. These gold ornaments feature various characters and symbols from famous cartoons or games, including those from Japanese manga Naruto and Lu Ban No. 7 in the video game Honor of Kings. The lowest price is just 1,000 yuan, and that's bringing in young consumers. The jewelry maker Chiu Samsam says that thanks to the higher proportion of young consumers, the company made revenue of more than 100 million yuan during this year's Double 11 shopping festival, a year-on-year increase of more than 60%.
Thanks to the new technology of electroforming, we can produce gold jewelry of great hardness, which are suitable for daily wearing. For example, the majority of the consumers of the Charmy series are young people. And we also combine gold with some semi-precious stones to create some fashionable and modern products.
60% of the company's consumers are now aged between 18 and 35 years old, and they generate 50% of the company's total income. Roland Wang says an increasing number of gold jewelry brands are embracing the new trend.
Local manufacturers and wholesalers started to introduce new innovative products categories, such as the 3D dimensioned gold jewelry, the so-called inherited gold jewelries. And we think that those new products will be more attractive to the younger generations. At the same time, we have seen the innovative approach by some leading retail shops. They are sort of upgrade their retail outlets to basically face the new trends of new consumers.
Wang says that although plain, traditional appeal 24-karat gold designs may have fallen in popularity due to rallying gold prices, more and more new consumers are being drawn to gold jewelry with unique designs and craft technology.
A new week and a chance for a fresh start. Water has dried, the sun is out, St Mark's Square is open and full of tourists.
In no time, they get all their shops cleaned up, squeegeed out, smelling nice, and it's back to a normal day for them.
Now the extent of the damage will be assessed. Experts already estimate it at €1 billion.
This is considered one of the most beautiful bookshops in the world, and it's adequately named. Aqua Alta, meaning high waters, and that's exactly what this place faced. But like many places across Venice, the beauty has really shone through. Despite the damage, there's been a quick response from volunteers giving their free time to help get this business back on their feet, no longer flooded with water, but people instead.
As the bustling city returns to normal, scars have been revealed, and the calls for change are growing. Barriers to defend the city are due to be completed by 2021.
Every year by year, and it's getting worse, and we're feeling it. So we need to start changing things right now, and this is the moment for us to do it.
At the Glass Room exhibit in San Francisco, 50 art installations help visitors peer into our increasingly digital lives. Using facial recognition, the Megapixels project sifts through public databases to find potential matches to your face.
So there are a lot of questions I think that it raises, both about the effectiveness of our reliance on these types of technologies.
Erica Terry Derrick works for the not-for-profit company Mozilla, which created the Firefox web browser and is producing the Glass Room.
We do need to be asking questions about where the control lies. Does that control rest with me as the consumer, or does that control rest with the companies?
This vending machine sells actual Instagram likes and followers. Jason Kelly managed to buy 100 followers for $2.
It's hard to know what is ethical on social media, and this is just one example of ways that it's unclear.
This installation shows a timeline of protests over the past 10 years that have happened at major tech companies like Facebook, Amazon, and Google, which tops the list. Also on display, copies of Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg's talking point notes from his 2018 appearance before Congress, right next to a Rolodex filled with his pledges and apologies.
This is the first time we are in the kind of a heart of where this technology is being developed, and it's very important for us that tech workers as well come in here. Those are also human beings. They have families. They also have different doubts and ideas about impact of technology on society and themselves. And you want them to find a way to discuss that, to find a way to form the right questions that they can then answer themselves and make decisions, because they're defining the way we're using technology.
Tech lawyer Len Ho got a little surprised when thumbing through these volumes of hacked LinkedIn passwords. He found one of his old ones and his wife's.
Hers is in here too. I'm going to take a picture of this. It's a little invasive. I will say just looking for it among this whole volume produced a little anxiety.
Artist Kyriaki Goni created this art installation, which displays her Google search history for the past 8 years. There are more than 10,000 searches. I can delete one like this, but it prints out on a receipt. The symbolism here is that even though you delete your search history, it already goes to the site you visited on permanent record. The Glassroom hopes visitors will be inspired to ask questions about what's behind the screens of today to better shape the ones of tomorrow.